Okay, so we'll discuss 13-19. Question here is, to have an income from acquisition of 100,000, the number of shares to be issued by VV company should be, plus the business combination will normally result in either a goodwill or a gain on acquisition. And to solve for the resulting goodwill or gain, you only need two things. What are the two things you need to solve for goodwill or gain? You need the consideration and the fair value of the net assets. So what we have in this problem is a scenario wherein the problem is already telling us that the business combination resulted in a gain or income from acquisition. So what does that tell us? And it is asking us, it is telling us of a targeted income from acquisition class, but it is asking us for the number of shares to be issued. So this could mean, class, that one of the two things we need must not be given. So either the consideration or the fair value of the net assets must not be given. And in this case, it is likely that it is the consideration that is not given, because we need the total consideration class to work back the number of shares needed to have an income of 100,000. Okay, but for our analysis class, if the combination resulted in a gain of 100,000, what does that mean? The blank is greater than the blank. If it resulted in a gain, what does it mean? Is it the consideration that is greater, or is it the fair value of the net assets that is greater? It is the fair value of the net assets that is greater. In this problem, by how much is the fair value of the net assets greater than the consideration? It is the resulting income of 100,000. So whatever it is, we expect the fair value of the net assets to be greater than the consideration by 100,000. And again, we're expecting that the consideration is not yet given. Otherwise, the problem would be very easy. Let's check. VV company will issue shares of 10 par value common stock for all the assets and liabilities. It tells us that it will issue shares, but it does not tell us how much or how many, because that is essentially what is being asked. VV company's common stock has a current market value of 40 per share. The NN company statement of financial position prior to the acquisition is shown below. The fair market value of the current asset is 400, while that of PPE is 1,600,000. All the liabilities are correctly stated. VV company issued sufficient shares of stock so that the fair market value of the stock issued is equal to the fair market value of NN company's net assets. Okay, so indeed we are correct that the consideration is not given. But that means only, class, that we will have to solve first for the fair value of the net assets and then deduct your income of 100 to work back the total consideration. Okay, so let's do that. The financial statement given there, class, is that of the acquiree. Okay, how much is the current assets of the acquiree, class? 320. Is there any changes to its fair value? Yes, it should be 400. And then the PPE, instead of 880, should be 1,600,000. Which valuation are we going to use? The amounts presented in the financial statements or the amounts labeled as the fair values class? Fair value. So we'll not use the 320 and the 880. We will use the 400 and the 1,600,000. So the total would be 2 million. But we will not be using the 2 million, class, and deduct 100, because what we need is not your total assets. What we need is the net assets. And how do you get your net assets, class? Assets minus liabilities. So from our 2 million, class, what else do we have to do to arrive at our fair value of the net assets? Deduct your liabilities at fair value. How much is the fair value of your liabilities? Also 400,000. So 2 million minus 400,000 will give you 1,600,000. Okay? So basically, we have everything we need, class. We know that the fair value of net assets must be greater than the consideration because we have an income, and the income is 100,000. So if we work back, class, what conclusion can we arrive at? And we arrived at that the total consideration is how much? How much is the total consideration? 1,500,000. Okay, the next issue now is, how do we determine how many shares is equivalent to 1,500,000? What per share value are we going to use? Are we going to use the par value or the fair value class? Again, in business combination, everything is at fair value. So that means the 1,500,000 represents what? The total fair market value of the shares issued. So that means if the market value per share is 40, how many shares then were issued? What do we do? 1,500,000 divided by 40 per share, you would get 37,500 shares. Next, problem 20 is connected with problem 19. To have a goodwill of 200, the number of shares to be issued by VV company is, so there's just a minor change in the given class. Instead of a gain, we'll have a goodwill. In our analysis for the combination to result in a goodwill class, what must be the scenario? The blank should be greater than the blank. Which one should be greater for there to be a goodwill? It should be the consideration that should be greater. So we have already computed the fair value of the net assets to be how much? 1,600,000. For there to be a goodwill of 200, our consideration must be 1,800,000. So if your total consideration is 1,800,000, just like in problem 19, what do? We divide it by 40. We would get how many shares? 45,000. Okay, the next problem appears long, and this is a good candidate for a problem that will come out in our exam on Tuesday. What is the total asset of Pablo Corporation after acquisition? Class, what are the things I wanted you to remember, class, if you're asked for total assets? The very first one is always check if the combination resulted in a goodwill. Because if it resulted in a goodwill, then that would be included in your total assets. And how are you supposed to compute for the total assets, class? Assets of the acquirer plus assets of the acquiree. But again, do not forget to include the resulting goodwill. So as a sound practice, class, always try to solve first for the resulting goodwill or gain. But before we proceed, class, again, how do we solve for total assets? Assets of the acquirer plus assets of the acquiree. But again, an important rule, class, for valuation, in adding the assets of the acquirer, remember that there is no revaluation on the part of the acquirer. So the amount to be included in the total assets for the acquirer will be the assets at book value. Which one is to be added at the fair value? It would be the assets of the acquiree. Okay, assets of the acquirer plus assets of the acquiree. Expounded as assets of the acquirer at book value plus assets of the acquiree at fair value. And then add the resulting goodwill. And thus, we now need to solve for the resulting goodwill. And what are the two things we need to solve for the goodwill or gain on acquisition, class? Consideration and the fair value of the net assets. Let's check, because normally consideration is given, class. First sentence, no. After the table on January 2, Pablo Corporation issues 30,000 shares of its stock with a market value of 20 per share for the assets and liabilities of CISO Corporation. So can we now figure out our consideration, class? Yes, which is 30,000 shares multiplied by the market value of 20. So 30,000 times 20 will give you how much? 600,000. But if you watch the recording, class, I've reminded you that your consideration in computing for the resulting goodwill or gain should include any contingent consideration. And is there any contingent consideration in this problem? Yes, last paragraph or sentence in the problem class. Contingent consideration to be paid is 75,000. So that means your total consideration is 675,000. Okay? Again, what are the two things you need to solve for goodwill or gain class? Consideration and fair value of net assets. Do we have your consideration already? Yes, 675. So what's the other thing that we need? We need the fair value of the net assets. Okay? Again, whose net assets would be relevant here? That would be that of the acquiree, in this case, CISO Corporation. Okay? Current assets and non-current assets is 60 plus 440. That would be 500. Are we going to be using these amounts, class? No, because we should be using the fair values. And based on the given the problem, the book values reflect fair values except the non-current assets, which have a fair value of 400, and the current assets of CISO Corporation, which have a net realizable value of 100. Because are we going to be using the 400,000 class? No, because that is pertaining to Pablo. And we mentioned that for acquirer class, it should remain at book value. So which of the assets and liabilities of the acquiree class, CISO Corporation, will be adjusted? Only the current assets. So instead of 60, that would be 100. So that means the net assets at the assets at fair value is 100 plus 440, that is 540. Then deduct the liabilities of 60,000. That means the net assets at fair value is 480. And do we have the two things we need to solve for goodwill or gain, class? Yes. Consideration of 675 and then fair value of net assets at 480. What do we do? Deduct the net assets from the consideration. So 675 minus 480 will give you 195. So the combination resulted in a goodwill of 195,000. So if this comes out in our exam class, expect that you would also be asked for the resulting goodwill. And again, how much is the resulting goodwill? 195,000. But understand, kasi it's very easy for me to change one thing in this problem so that the answer would be different. I can easily change the total consideration class. Okay, or even the fair value of one of these assets or liabilities class. So make sure you understand the process. Okay, but in the first place, why are we solving for your goodwill in this problem? Because we know that if there's a goodwill, it will affect the total assets. Again, how do we solve for total assets? Total assets of the acquirer plus total assets of the acquiree plus any resulting goodwill. Expounded, total assets of the acquirer at book value plus total assets of the acquiree at fair value. Okay? But remember, class, there are other things you have to remember for your other accounts, specifically your cash class. What are the things I wanted you to remember for your cash? In solving for the cash immediately after the combination, what you have to take note of? Do not simply add the cash of the acquirer and the cash of the acquiree. Remember, there may be cash payments to affect the combination. And what are these possible cash payments? Number one, cash consideration. The consideration may be paid in cash. But is that the case in this problem? Is any part of our consideration in cash, class? Is any part of the consideration cash? The answer is no. What is the form of our consideration? It is in shares, class. Okay? Next, what else should you look out for your total cash? Payments for what? Payments for acquisition related expenses and payments for stock issuance cost. Do we have these two things in this problem? Yes, we have your 15,000 and 25,000. Do you see these figures, class? So this will be relevant. For example, how much is the current assets of the acquirer, class? Current assets of the acquirer. 130. Current assets of the acquiree at fair value, 100. But your combined current assets will not just be 230 because again, you have these cash payments. What did you pay for, class? You had to pay for 15,000 and 25,000. And this will be deducted from your current assets. Why will this be deducted from your current assets? Because what is part of your current assets? Cash is part of your current assets. And the payments made for the 15 and 25 are not yet reflected in the 130 and the 100 class. So it's important that you understand that one. So your current assets actually is not just 130 plus 100. It's 130 plus 100 minus 15 and minus 25. So how much would that be, class? 130 plus 100 minus 15 and minus 25. Is it 190? Help me here, class. All you have to do is to compute. 190. Next, non-current assets. Do we adjust the non-current assets of the acquirer to 400? No. So what will we use? We will use 570. And then since there is no adjustment to the non-current assets of the acquiree, we will just add a 440. So 570 plus 440, that should be 1,010,000. Am I correct? So because we're doing this because in the exam, you could be asked, how much is your current assets after the combination? How much is the non-current assets after the combination? So how much will be our non-current assets, excluding goodwill? So 570 plus 40, that is 1,010,000. Okay. So current assets was 190. Non-current assets is how much? How much, class? 1,010,000. So 1,010,000 plus 190 is that 1,200,000. But our total assets is not 1,200,000, correct? Because we will have to add. We will have to add your goodwill. And how much is the resulting goodwill? 195. So 1,200,000 plus 195 will give you 1,395,000. So far, what are the possible questions that can be asked, class? Number one, how much is the resulting goodwill and what is the answer? 195. Number two, how much is the total current assets? It's not 230. It is 190. How much is the total non-current assets? Plus, if you will be asked, how much is your total non-current assets? Include goodwill already. Okay, goodwill is part of your non-current assets. So it would be 1,010,000 plus 195. How much is 1,010,000 plus 195? 1,205,000. Okay. And the total, another possible question is how much is the total assets? And that is 1,395,000. Plus, if you fail to deduct the 15 and 25, your answer will also not mean the choices. Okay, let's proceed to 13-22. What's the question in 13-22? Still the same problem. What is the total stockholders' equity of Pablo? Class, how do you solve for total assets? Assets of the acquirer plus assets of the acquiree. How do you solve for total liabilities immediately after the combination? Liabilities of the acquirer plus liabilities of the acquiree. And that is why if you are asked to solve for the equity immediately after the combination, what do? Equity of the acquirer plus equity of the acquiree, correct? Wrong. For equity, class, it should only be the equity of the acquirer. It should only be the equity of the acquirer. Okay? And in the table given, class, how much is the equity of the acquirer? Are you looking at Pablo Corporation, class? Capital stock is 500. APIC or share premium is 50. Retained earnings is 100 for a sum of 650. But why is this not the answer if we say that the equity is just the equity of the acquirer? Because again, the amounts here are the amounts immediately before the combination. And what we are looking for is the balance immediately after the acquisition. So what does that mean? Are there changes immediately before Up to immediately after? Yes. And what are these changes? The issuance of the shares. Okay? So for capital stock, what did I want you to remember? For the capital stock or share capital immediately after, do not forget to add the additional share capital arising from the issuance of shares as part of your consideration. Is the consideration in the form of share issuances, class? Yes. How many shares were issued? 30,000. Okay? But in computing for your capital stock, class, are you going to be using the market value of 20? No, because we know that for the share capital account, the amount that will enter that account is always the par value. But we said the measurement is at fair value. Yes, it's just that only the par value will enter the share capital account. Where then will the excess go? Where then will the excess of the fair value over the par value be reported? It will be reported as part of your additional paid in capital. So if you're doing this line by line, your capital stock will not be 500. It will be increased by the additional issuances of shares. But again, it should not be the market value. It should only be the par value. So 30,000 times the par value. How much is the par value, class? Given in the problem, correct? You have a big problem if you cannot see the 10 peso par value, class. Okay? It's there in the table. So 30,000 times 10 pesos per share, the additional the increase in your share capital as a result of the issuance of the 30,000 shares amount to how much? Amounts to how much? 300,000. So that would be the answer to your share capital. How much is your share capital immediately after the acquisition? The answer is 800,000. Okay, but why is that not in the choices? The question is for total equity. The 800 we have computed is only for your capital stock or your share capital. Do you follow, class? So what do we do to get the answer? Update also the other components of your shareholders' equity, and that is your APIC and your retained earnings. So, when will your APIC increase? Only if there are issuances of shares above par value. Were the shares issued above par value? Yes, they were issued at 20 per share. By how much does it exceed the par value? Also 10. But understand the 10 that we are using here is not the par value, but the excess of the fair value over the par. I hope you understand, class. Okay, what if I will change the 20 to 30? You might still be using the 10 for the APIC. If the fair value is now 25, the amount of increase in your APIC should be 15 per share. I hope you understand that, class. Maybe that's what I will do in the exam. I will change the fair value to 25. And everything we've discussed, the answer to everything we've discussed would already be different. Okay, so here the excess of the market value over the par value is only 10. So multiply that with 30,000. There will be an increase in your share premium or your APIC in the amount of 300,000 as well. So does that mean your APIC immediately after the acquisition is 350? No, okay. I hope you've taken note, class, that there are multiple things to remember for your share premium. Aside from the excess of the market value over the par value, what else do you have to remember, class? You will have to deduct what? Stock issuance cost. Okay? Because your stock issuance cost will not be reported as an expense. It will be charged to your APIC. Now, you have two acquisition-related expenses here, 15 and 25. Is any of the two a stock issuance cost, class? Yes, and that is the 15,000. Okay, so the 15,000 will be deducted from the increase in your APIC. How much was the supposed increase in your APIC? 300. And what do? We deduct the 15. So 300 minus 15, the net increase in your APIC will only be 285. Now, this was discussed already. What happens if the stock issuance cost is greater than the increase in APIC, class? Do not touch the old or the existing APIC, class. That would only mean there will be no additional APIC. But what will happen to the uncovered portion? The amount of stock issuance cost not shouldered or not covered by the APIC, it will be charged to your retained earnings. But when will that happen, class? Only if your stock issuance cost exceeds the increase in your APIC. Okay, but that's not the case here. So again, how much is the net increase in your OPEX in this problem? 300 minus 15. That would be 280, 285. Then you add the existing 50 OPEX. Your total OPEX after the acquisition would be how much? 335. Next, retained earnings. Again, Lisa, only the retained earnings of the acquirer. But why are we not using 100? Because what are the things I wanted you to remember uh, for your retained earnings class? Number one, do not forget to add any resulting income from acquisition. Okay, but do we have an income from acquisition in this problem? No, class. What we have is a goodwill. Okay, but again, you have to check if there is a resulting gain or income from acquisition. Aside from that one, what else could affect your retained earnings for the acquisition class? Your acquisition related expenses and the unabsorbed portion of your stock issuance cost. But we do not have the third one. We only have the second one. Do we have acquisition related cost? Yes, in the amount of 25. This will be reported as an expense, and as you know, expenses will be close to your retained earnings. So what do we do with the 25,000 acquisition expense? Deduct it from your retained earnings. So that means your retained earnings after the acquisition would be how much? How much? 75. And now we have all the components of our shareholders' equity. How much is our capital stock after the acquisition class? 800. Our share premium after the acquisition? 335. Then you add the 70, 800 plus 335 plus 70 will give you how much? 1,210,000. And that will already be the answer to problem 22. But again, to arrive at that one, what else could be asked, class? Common stock, share premium, and retained earnings. Okay? Class 13, 23 to 25. What is the goodwill to be recorded by a company? What are the two things we need to solve for goodwill or gain, class? Consideration and fair value of the net assets. Let's try to do these all together. Consideration for both B and C. What did the problem say? A company shares have a market value of 22. How many did A company issue? Where can we find that? Last paragraph. A company acquires all of the assets and assumes the liabilities of B company and C company by issuing 200,000 shares of its stock to B company and 29,000 shares of its stock to C company. So total shares issued then, class, is how many? 229. And how many? And how much is the fair market value of each share? 22. How much is 229 times 22, class? Everyone gets the 229 where we got it, the 200 plus the 29. And then multiply that with the fair value of 22. How much is 229 times 22? 5 million. And that would be our total consideration. What else do we need to solve for goodwill or gain, class? Fair value of the net assets. Let's start with, are there any changes in the fair value? No, the problem already states that these are the fair values for B and C. Okay, so B and C, assets 68 and 900 for a sum of 7,600,000. And then deduct the liabilities, class. Liabilities of 2,650 and 530. It is what, 7, how much was it, class? 700 minus 3,180. That's 2,650 plus 530. How much is 700 minus 3,180, class? How much? 4, 5, 20. That would be our total fair value of the net assets. Do you follow? And now, do we have the two things we need to solve for goodwill class? Yes. Total consideration of 5,038,000 minus total fair value of the net assets in the amount of 4,520,000. How much then is the resulting goodwill class? 518,000. Plus, very quickly lang, go back to problem 21 and 22. I forgot to remind you of one thing. Because what if you were asked for your total current liabilities class? What are you supposed to do? Liabilities of the acquirer plus liabilities of the acquiree. Is there a change in the fair value of the liabilities of the acquiree? No. So this should just be 50 plus 60, correct? Normally, yes. But what's one thing you're supposed to remember for combined liabilities class? Do not forget to include the liability from your contingent consideration. Do you have your contingent consideration class? Yes, how much was the contingent consideration? 75. So your total liabilities after the combination would be 50 plus 60 plus 75. That would be 185. Am I correct? Okay. So if your answer was simply 50 plus 60 class, that would have been wrong. Okay. Very important to remember. Include the contingent consideration. So again, your total liabilities now would be 185. Now let's check. Remember your accounting equation. What is your accounting equation? Assets is equal to liabilities plus equity. How much did we solve as the total assets after the acquisition class? 1 million. Was it 1,395,000? The answer to problem 21. 1,395,000. Next, how much did we solve as the total equity after the acquisition? 1,210,000. You add 1,210,000 with the liabilities we have computed. How much was the liabilities? 185. 1,210 plus 185. That should give you your total assets. Okay? So if you forgot the contingent consideration class, you would have checked class, you would have verified that your answer is wrong, Kai. The accounting equation would not have balance. Is that clear? So that is another potential question. Compute for total liabilities after the combination. The answer is 185. Okay, let's go back, class. Problem 24. What is the total assets of A company after the combination? Again, assets of the acquirer plus assets of the acquiree and the two acquirees. So, assets of the acquirer, 5,250. Assets of the acquiree, 68 and 900. But remember the things you're supposed to remember. Is there goodwill? Yes. Are there payments for acquisition-related expenses and stock issuance cost? Yes. Okay, so take those into account. First, assets of the acquirer, 5,250. Assets of the acquiree, 68 and 900. What else, class? Goodwill. How much was the resulting goodwill? 518. That's plus or minus? Plus. Next, what else you have to remember? Deduct cash consideration. Is any part of our consideration in cash, class? No. How did we pay for the combination? Issuance of shares. Okay. Next, what else you have to remember? Check for payments for acquisition-related expenses and stock issuance costs. Do we have those in this problem? Yes, 20 and 10,000. Total of 30. What do we do with this amount? Plus or minus? Minus. So 5,250 plus 68 plus 900 plus 518 minus 30. How much will that give you? 13,438,000. Plus, there's nothing we've discussed in a difficult class. Correct? Correct? It all boils down to goodwill. And what are the things you need to solve for goodwill, class? Consideration and fair value net assets. And consideration is normally given, although sometimes not directly. Next, 13 to 25. What is the total stockholders' equity? Again, do we add the equity of the acquirer and the acquiree class? Because if it's combined equity, whose equity are we going to be using? Only that of the acquirer. But are we just going to rely on the 1,700,000 and the 400,000 class? No, because there could be other changes. Okay. So, are there changes to the capital stock? Yes, because we issued shares, correct? How many shares did we issue? 229,000. Okay, so the capital stock will increase, but for capital stock only, the par value will go to this account because the excess will go to your APIC. Okay, so how many shares were issued? 229. How much is the par value? Is it always 10? No. But I hope you know where we found the 10 class, okay? 229 times 10, that will give you 2,290,000. Add that with the 1,700,000, that would give you 3,990,000. Am I correct? Okay, so if you'll be asked how much is the capital stock after the acquisition, that the answer would be 3,990,000. Next, APIC. Did we issue shares above the par value class? Yes, it was issued at 22. By how much did it exceed the par value class? 12. Where did we get 12? 22 market value minus par value of 10. So how many shares were issued? 229. 229 times 12 class, how much? 2,748,000. But that will not be the increase to your APIC class, correct? Because what else could affect your APIC or your share premium? Stock issuance cost. Do you have stock issuance cost? Yes. How much? Is it the 10 or the 20? Okay, a company pays 10,000 for registering and issuing securities. So what do we do with the 10? Plus or minus? Minus. So the 2,748,000 minus 10, the net increase in your APIC would be 2,738. And since we do not have existing APIC, our APIC after the combination will just be 2,738,000. Okay. Next, retained earnings. What are the things you're supposed to remember for retained earnings? Don't forget to include the income from acquisition. Do we have income from acquisition? No. What else? Don't forget to deduct acquisition-related expenses. Do we have other acquisition-related costs? Yes, we have 20,000. Plus or minus? Minus, because this is an expense, and expense when close to RE will decrease your retained earnings. Because I hope you understand when I say RE, I am referring to retained earnings. What's the third thing to remember for your retained earnings class? Any unabsorbed amount of your stock issuance cost will be charged to retained earnings. But do we have any unabsorbed stock issuance cost class? No, our increase in APIC is more than sufficient to cover the stock issuance cost. Pila to increase in APIC? 2,748,000. And how much is your stock issuance cost? Only 10,000. Okay, so only one thing will affect your RE, and that is the acquisition cost of 20. And since we are at a deficit, the additional expense of 20 will further increase our deficit. So how much will be our deficit, class? Our deficit now will be 420,000. Okay? And now we have every component of our shareholders' equity. How much was the capital stock after the combination? 3,990,000. Am I correct? Yes. APIC of 2,738,000. Then deduct the deficit of 420. 3,990 plus 2,738 minus 420. How much will that give you? 6,308,000. Okay, is that in the choices? Yes. So this could be a good candidate also of a problem that can come out in your examination. 13-26 question here. How much is the total depreciation? One important theory lang, class. After the combination, in the books of the acquirer, in the books of the surviving entity, The assets acquired are to be depreciated using their fair values. Okay? And besides, are we given the fair value? How much the fair value of the equipment? 200. Is it 200? 180. And then a building is 550. So even in the books of the acquiree, the values are 200 and 500. In the books of the combined entity class, in the eyes of the combined entity, they are to be recorded, recognized, and subsequently measured using their fair values at the time of the acquisition. Okay? So very easy, class. The depreciation expense after the acquisition, since you are asked for 2018 class, you will now be using 180, but divided by 5, the annual depreciation. So 180 divided by 5, that would be 36. And then for the building, you will be using 550 and not 500. So 550 divided by 20, how much? 27,500. So 27,500 plus 36 will give you, is it 63,500? Yes. Okay, so please take note of that one, class. Huh? But the more likely question to be asked is the second question. How much is the goodwill, and what are the two things we need to solve for goodwill, class? Fair value, consideration and the fair value of the net assets. Are we given with the consideration? Yes, in the amount of 900. Next. What else do we need? Fair value of the net assets. How much the net assets? No changes to current assets, so that will still be 100. Land is still at 50. Equipment will be at 180. Building will be at 550. So please help me here. 100 plus 50, 150 plus 180, 330 plus 550. That's 9. That's 890. 880. And then deduct 150. Sorry, how much was it, class? 880, 850. 880 minus 150, that would be 730. Do we have the two things we need to solve for goodwill or gain? Yes, consideration of 900 and then fair value net assets of, was it 750, 730? 730. So 730 deducted from 900 will give you 170. Now, question, class, what's the relevance of the goodwill given in the problem? Do you see the 200,000 goodwill, class? Yes, that is the goodwill in the books of the acquiree. How is that possible, class? That is possible. This could mean, class, that the acquiree, before it was acquired, also was an acquirer, class. Previously, it acquired another entity, and the acquisition resulted in a goodwill. But again, will we recognize the goodwill in the books of the acquiree, class? The answer is no. The goodwill in the books of the, that's important theory. The goodwill in the books of the acquiree will have a fair value of 0. Okay? So do not be confused with the goodwill there. That only means that at some point in the past, the acquiree was a party to a business combination. A business combination resulted in a goodwill of 200. But that will not have any value on the part of Pearl Company, the acquirer, in this transaction. Is that clear, class? But very important theory again. There are some questions, class, wherein you will be asked, in the working paper elimination entries, by how much will goodwill be increased as a result of the combination? Or by how much will goodwill increase or change as a result of the combination? Again, the question focuses on the working paper eliminating entries, class. So you go back. How much was the resulting goodwill in this problem, class? 170. But since the books of the acquirer already has goodwill, class, the net effect you would do would be, you will just decrease goodwill by 30. Because when you combine the assets of the acquirer and the acquiree, the goodwill of the acquiree would already be there. And it was 200, but the resulting goodwill should only be 170. So what do you do in the working paper eliminating entries? You will be crediting goodwill, you will be decreasing goodwill, you will be deducting goodwill by 30,000. So that the goodwill present in the books of the acquiree will be reduced to 170, and that will now be the one used in the working papers class. Okay, but that is a very rare question, class, which could be asked in our exam, which could be asked if Dr. D was the examiner in the departmental exams. But since Dr. D is handling this subject, he will not be making the exam. The likely candidate would be Attorney Argawan. Okay, but just in case, and for me to make sure that you will remember this one, that question will come out in your exam on Tuesday. What would be the net change? What would be the entry? The entry in the working paper eliminating entries will include what? A debit to goodwill in 70, a debit to goodwill of 30, a credit to goodwill of 170, a credit to goodwill of 30. The answer would be credit to goodwill of 30,000. Why? Because the resulting goodwill should only be 170, but there is already existing goodwill in the books of the acquiree. All we have to do is to decrease it by 30. Finally, last problem. This is just an application of the rule on contingent consideration. Are we supposed to include contingent consideration in the computation of goodwill, class? Are we supposed, class? Cooperate, class, so that we can go. Are we supposed to include contingent consideration in the computation of goodwill? Yes. But the problem now is the valuation of your contingent consideration changes. Okay, so what do? You also make those adjustments. So it's possible for your goodwill to change. But basically the same. What do we need to solve for goodwill? Consideration and fair value net assets. Are we given with the consideration? Yes, but we are not sure which one to use. Are we given with the fair value of the net assets? Which one is not? Is there contingent consideration here? No, I'm wrong. What is provisional here is the fair value of the net assets. Okay, are we given with the consideration? Yes, the price is 32 million. The problem is the valuation of our net assets is changing. At the start, it was 20. So sorry, it's not 20. At the acquisition date, the net assets is 24. So if you're asked, class, how much was the goodwill recognized at the acquisition date, your answer would simply be 32 minus 24, and that would be 12 million. But what is the question in this problem? Goodwill as of when? December 31, 2017. So meaning not acquisition date. So you should be using the final date amount. Do you follow? Yes. But the problem, class, is we have the rule on the measurement period, and the measurement period is only up to 1 year. So the August 31, 2017 valuation will no longer be used because it is beyond the measurement period. So which one are we going to use? We will use the 27 million. So 32 million minus 27 million, our answer would be 5 million and not 4 million. Okay? Because the 28 million is already beyond the measurement period. How do we know it is already beyond the measurement period? The measurement period is at the maximum only 1 year. And when was the acquisition date? August 1. So the August 31 is already beyond. So if this comes out, what do I want you to give as your answer? 5 million or 4 million? 5 million. Okay? If it comes out, your answer should be 5 million.